Hello, I'm Sheila Henson with Health and Nutrition Technology in Indiana, and I would like to make some blueberry muffins for you. We are going to go ahead and take 2 vanilla Health 1 meal replacements. And when we do this, of course we could have used any of the flavors, but vanilla being the most versatile in my opinion anyways, I like to go ahead and start with my vanilla base. And then decide what's the brand, what's the choice that I want. So what I chose here, because these were all $1, was the whole grain blueberry, the regular blueberry with cheesecake, or even a different brand of the same thing, blueberry. Jiffy is always a go-to as well. And what we're gonna do is today we're gonna make muffins, and then in just a bit we're gonna make some waffles, all using the exact same ingredients and seeing if there's any difference. If you'd like for added flavor or even just moisture to add some fresh blueberries into it, they're only 15 calories an ounce and they really do make a difference in the texture. But you don't need anything other than the meal replacement itself and a tablespoon of a blueberry mix to make delicious blueberry muffins. So here we go. Right before we go ahead and cut these and then put them away, I wanted to demonstrate one difference that's happening in the labeling. It has actually been delayed, so in another year you will see this on all products with the new nutrition facts label, giving brighter and bigger sight to certain elements. And I'm not going to go into that's a whole different class. But what I wanted to show you is that for this product, it looks like it's very different because this one here, even though they're the same thing I showed you, that one's whole wheat, that's not the issue. They're pretty much the same thing. But when we're looking at it, this was for a 1/4 cup at 160 calories for the mix. This is for a 1/2 cup for 260 calories for the mix. So it's not that big a difference, and we need to understand that reading food labels is very important. And so we're just going to take the 1 tablespoon, and of course we could level it exactly, but we're going to go with that being 1 tablespoon. Having how much water? As much as it needs to make it a muffin consistency. But I only did 1 tablespoon, and yet how many meal replacements do I have in here? 2. So that means that I do not have enough muffin mix to make it a 1-by-1. So let's just do 1 more. What's the rule? Can't take water away once it's added, so add it slowly. And if you'll notice that when I'm making this, it really is a muffin consistency, a cake-like batter. We put it in this bowl specifically so you can see it. Now when we do the exact same recipe, because this is a standard 1-by-1, or in this case 2-by-2, we are going to have the same consistency, only we're going to do this one as a muffin, and then we'll make them in smaller bowls when we're making them into our waffle irons. All right? And then when we take this same mixture that we have demonstrated many times in the past, you'll see that what's so nice about it is you're going to get familiar and comfortable with that portion being 6 mini muffins to 1 meal replacement. So we use 2 meal replacements, so we are going to get 12 mini muffins. And if you wanted to use a larger pan, a regular size muffin or even a muffin topper pan, you'll find that there are certain increments that you're comfortable with. I myself like 3 large muffins for 1 meal replacement because I want them to be in increments of 6 because that's how most muffin tins actually work out. And sure enough, without any editing, mind you, I just want you to see this is exactly what we're looking at, was this 12. And it really does turn out, guys, almost every single time. Now all we're gonna do is pop this in the oven at 330. Here's my trick. If you cook it at a lower temperature, you can actually go a little bit longer and do 20 other things. But if you cook it at 350 and you're not paying 100% attention to what you're doing, which sometimes I don't always pay 100% attention, then I'm gonna end up having burnt or overcooked meal replacements. And personally, I just don't think there's much worse than a burnt meal replacement. So go ahead and make it so that it works for you. For me, at 330 is typically the temperature I like to cook at for about 12 minutes, but I'm not gonna, please don't hold me to that exact figure. It really is a cooking skill, and that's what bakers do. They get the opportunity to explore. That's what cooks do. Whether you call yourself a baker or a cook or just someone who's playing around, have fun with it. All right, so now when we're looking at utilizing the Health One meal replacement in the same recipe, in the same kind of understanding, it does make a difference in the equipment that you use. We have 3 different waffle irons here. All of them, the differences in the wells. Are they going down in size? Yes. So how much spread we're going to get may make a difference from that, but also how much water. And I get a lot of questions about this. Exact measurements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take 3 exact same bowls with the use of the same meal replacement and the same tablespoon of blueberry muffin mix, and then measure out the same amount of water. And at the end, what our goal is to see if there's an outcome difference in the waffle iron that was used individually. Health One, vanilla. So when we take this and we have the 1 tablespoon of blueberry mix that we've been using in each one, because this is a smaller container, I definitely want to mix the dry ingredients together before I add any of the liquid. So what we have here is that simple 1-by-1 recipe that we're just mixing up real quick in each one of these individual bowls. I am going to, trying to be consistent, I'm going to go ahead and take about an ounce or so for each one and try and measure it out. But that doesn't help me because I can't see it. So for my patients who know, I tried to be consistent there with the water. Let's look at something real quick. This is the part, it's so much fun. You've got from thick, where I can turn this over and nothing comes out, to thick, but it's moving, if I turn this much more, it's gonna come out, to if I turn this over, the whole thing's gonna just spill out. That is not going to cause a problem. If I did every one of these in the same waffle iron, I would still get a really good product. It might be slightly different on what the spread is. I want you guys to have fun with cooking. And so even if you don't have the exact measurements, and this one is much thinner than this one here, which still does have some movement, to this one here, which literally would just plop. When we have the differences that people often experience, I just can't get it to work out. Yes, you can, and I want you to know that you can, and you will. Just play with it a bit. Having the fact that we have different waffle irons over here, I want to just tell you that the best way that my waffle iron works is it gets plugged in. So you plug it in and it turns on. You do not want to spray it until it is actually hot. So we're going to go ahead and do all 3 of them at the same time. And you need, well, it's encouraged to use a grilling or a high temperature spray when you're using a high temperature piece of equipment. If you have regular spray, actually one of my patients just told me that she used the spray with flour in it. I think if you wanted to just even brush an oil on it, just understanding that the meal replacement has so little oil or fat in it, it will stick without something for most of these high temperature pieces of equipment. So if you find something works for you, go ahead and use it. Okay, now that our equipment is ready, waffle irons are hot because they've been turned on, and I know that just because of the feel. If I wait until the lights, these are older pieces of equipment, the little tabs have been lost even, I'm not going to be able to say that's it. But I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and if you can see any of that steam, and I'm only going to do one at a time. Even though I want to demonstrate all of them, I'll use the thinner batter here because this is a smaller well. It actually is going to be in my favor. And some people like to do 2 per meal replacement, or 2 meal replacements per waffle iron, and I just prefer not to. Maybe I'm not as skilled, or maybe I just don't want to clean up if it overspills. So all I've done is pour that in there and then drop it down for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds to a minute. I'm not going to tell you again exact figures because everyone's waffle iron is going to operate differently. But when we do this for this amount of time, we could test it. But again, if you're trying to go off of your buttons on top, most waffle irons, I believe, cook for about 2 to 2.5 minutes for a typical waffle. And that would really be overburnt. I've already stated my preference is not to have overburnt meal replacements. So we're going to go ahead and let it cook and steam up here. And it sounds like our muffins, our blueberry muffins, are going to be finishing up as well. It's been about 30 seconds to a minute. And what I'm going to do is just take a peek. Because I cannot turn this off without unplugging it, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have the right cord, turn it off, and then let go my ego. And it couldn't be easier cleanup because I am literally done with this. I'll stick it to the side and let it cool down. Because this was a deeper well, when I open it up, again, the steam just rolled off. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. And then take my batter that was not as runny. Again, I am still spreading it between the 2 sides. It's been about 30 seconds to a minute. Unplug it. Looking at our spatula. Oh, beautiful. Again, we've got waffles. Putting this to the side to cool. And our very last waffle iron, which is a deeper weld, more like a Belgian waffle iron, and we are going to go ahead and spray it. And this was our thickest batter. And the reason I chose to use this batter on this particular waffle iron is this one's round rather than square, so I can put it right in the middle. Just getting all of that meal replacement out. And you can just eat the batter if you like. And I'm going to go ahead and unplug it. All right, we're finished. All of these end products, Health One, vanilla, 1 tablespoon of a blueberry mix, your choice, with enough water to make it the consistency of the batter you're seeking. We've made waffles and we've made blueberries muffins. The blueberry muffins without any blue color shining through our blueberry muffins in the same way that all of these waffles are. The blueberry muffins that look like blueberry muffins had 3 blueberries put on top. Make it enjoyable, make it presentable so that you really can have fun with your food and enjoy every single bite of Health One meal replacement.